fellow Americans, logical fallacies, you've heard about them and learned about them, but today we're going to go in depth to the specific logical fallacy that is plaguing America. It is one that we know very well, very little about, I'd like to say. It is said to have come from the very depths of the Lockmore Monster Cave. Lockmore Monster's Cave. This fallacy is called the appeal to ignorance, and is something the people of America should be very well known of.
President Mo is completely right. You should be aware of the appeal to ignorance fallacy. So what is an appeal to ignorance fallacy? An appeal to ignorance fallacy is the assumption that a statement must be true if it cannot be proven false, or vice versa. For example, someone might say that God does not exist because there is no proof of God's existence. This is an example of appeal to ignorance fallacy because the speaker claims that their claim is right due to the lack of proof, shifting the burden of proof away from them. Here are some examples from real life to help you better understand the fallacy. Take it away, Amit.
Thanks, Jason. Our first example of the appeal to ignorance fallacy in real life is in the case of the 1950s Red Scare. Basically, due to the rise of communist ideology around the world, a Republican senator from Wisconsin by the name of Joseph McCarthy accused many innocent government workers and other American citizens of being communists. When McCarthy was confronted about one of the case studies of suspected communists in the Department of State that he had submitted, he responded by saying he did not have much information on this except the general statement of the agency that there is nothing in these files to disprove their communist connections. Put very simply, McCarthy provided little to no evidence of people being alleged communists, and if those who were accused had no evidence disproving their alleged involvement with communism, they were considered guilty. I'm passing the mic over to my main man Mo for the next example.
Our second example comes from the 1953 play by the author Arthur Miller from The Crucible. This work of literature was inspired by the events of the 1950s Red Scare that was previously mentioned by our lovely producer and editor Amit Banning. The synopsis for The Crucible, according to eNotes, The Crucible takes place in Salem, Massachusetts in 1692. During the Salem witch trials, the play is a fictionalized version of the trials and tells the story of a group of young Salem women who falsely accuse other villagers of witchcraft. The accusations and ensuing trials push the village into utter chaos and paranoia. The citizens of Salem were accusing other citizens of witchcraft. The accustomed accusers accused them with little to no proof. The accused had only their own anecdotal evidence to prove their innocence to the angry mob of Salem citizens, who in fear for their own safety would rather jeopardize that of the others, and this also forced them to accuse others to maintain their innocence or avoid punishment. If any of you noticed, I added in a literary device. Which one of you smarties can tell me which device was used? Well, enough of me. Let my dear pal Jason, the underdog Lee, take a turn at wooing my fans.
Our final example of the appeal to ignorance fallacy is, not to get political or anything, but it's the 2020 presidential election claims of voter fraud. As we all know, the Republican candidate, which we all know and love, Donald Trump, lost against the Democrat candidate, which we also know and love, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
After this result, there's a big unsubstantiated claim in 2020 over the US election that more than 8 million excess votes for Joe Biden were counted. The appeal to ignorance comes in when Donald Trump and conspiracy theorists falsely claim voter fraud affected the outcome of the 2020 election. Both the conspiracy theorists and the people believe them based on their claim through false and biased sources, such as The Gateway Pundit, a conservative website that has repeatedly published false claims about voter fraud. The supposed evidence for these claims have been proven wrong and not credible by the numerous organizations such as the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America, the Washington Post, the BBC, and others. Now let's move on to some more examples to help you understand the fallacy even more.
I am here today to exclaim my stance on the situation presented today in the building we are in. I think all dogs should be deprived of their basic rights as citizens and should be deported to where they came from. All dogs are sinners, and I have never seen a good dog.
Well, that's not necessarily.
You see Tanyet over there? His racially motivated plans to import dogs in order to make the living status of the modern person bad? He has no plans to make it better. He wants to ruin the world with the dogs. We must put an end to this. Never once have I ever seen a dog that was trained to perfection. They are all sinners, and we are in the hands of an angry God. Deport all dogs.
Was that a reference to the sermon? You didn't even take a push. Whatever, you don't even have any proof. How are dogs ruining everyone's lives?
How are dogs not ruining everyone's lives? See? My fellow legislators and Mohitizens. The opposing side of the argument cannot provide proof as to why dogs are not ruining everyone's lives. As such, they are utterly, impeccably, and 100% wrong. For bringing such an atrocious case to my attention, you shall suffer imprisonment for 100 years. But, as I am a merciful leader, I shall lessen your sentence to only 99 years of imprisonment. With our first bill out of the way, let us move on to the next bill for today's session. I love Hawaiian pizza, and since I love it, I know that you all will love it too. Am I right? Yes, President Mohammed!
I wholeheartedly disagree. That type of thinking is flawed and will lead to the downfall of Momerica.
Guards, seize this criminal that disrupts the balance of mohocracy that this country has been built on. Now, is there anyone else who dares to oppose me?
I would like to oppose you, President Mohammed. Before you arrest me, let me argue my case. You can't possibly make Hawaiian pizza the national food of Momerica. What if someone is lactose intolerant or allergic to pineapples on pizza? Seriously, fruit on pizza is an unholy combination.
Who are you to decide what is unholy or not? I, as the president, know what is best for my people, and with my extensive knowledge of consuming large amounts of pineapple pizza, have never suffered from the diseases that you mentioned that go by the name of lactose intolerant and allergies. Since I have never suffered from such ailments, why would I believe that others will too?
The world does not revolve around you, President Mohammed. There are plenty of people that suffer from lactose intolerance and allergies in Momerica.
But I'm not one of them. Your point? 68.9 years in max security prison.
My point is that you are using a logical fallacy. By claiming that there's a lack of evidence on my end, you effectively claim that my argument is wrong and yours is right. But I can see past your flaws.
And I can see that you're going to be sentenced in prison for an even longer sentence. For defying my absolute law, you shall be imprisoned for no less than 1,000 years.
President, I won't even be able to serve 1/10 of that sentence. How do you find that reasonable?
Well, I have high hopes you'll be the first one. Guards, take him away.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Hey Dad, I wanted to come in and say something.
What is it, my child? Actually, you aren't even a child anymore. You're supposed to be off to college.
I've been thinking, and I don't want to go to college.
Wait, what? Why?
Well, going to college doesn't necessarily mean I'll be successful. You see, there's successful people that are college dropouts, or heck, they didn't even go to college. There's Mark Zuckerberg, there's Bill Gates, there's even Kanye West. I'll be successful like them by making NFTs. Want to see mine?
Maybe stick to the college route, son.
Dad, there's no proof that going to college would mean that I'll be successful.
So basically, what you're saying is, by saying that there's no proof automatically makes your argument correct, right? That's silly. Plenty of evidence is there to argue against your claim, so your ass is going to college. This video has been sponsored by college. Pay up now, bitch.